and welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, at which point, just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And welcome back to day 2 of my Battle Royale festival. Okay, tonight we are going to be talking about Breathing Room. I love Lentinier box there, is so cool. Yes. I love this slipcase. Took me forever to find this movie. Now, Breathing Room was released in 2008. It is directed by John Suits and Gabriel Cowan. It was written by John Suits and Gabriel Cowan. And it stars Ailsa Marshall, Michael McLafferty, and David Higlen. Yes, it is. So what happens? Well, let me tell you what happens. So we are introduced to Tanya. Now, Tanya wakes up naked in a room in the dark. And she crawls around trying to find out what the hell's going on, where is she, what's up. She runs across a dead body, screams, jumps up, falls backwards, falls out a door into this very large warehouse-looking room with 13 different strangers, all of them wearing a suit, like a Michael Myers mechanic suit, and each one of them has a number on it, 1 through 13. So she looks around. One of the guys, number 8, I'm going to call them by their numbers. So 8 runs up and puts a coat over her, and they tell her, that she, there's clothes over there in this thing. She's looking around. There's stuff on the wall, like congratulations, you have been selected, welcome to the game, stuff like that. She also notices that herself and everybody is wearing collars, right? Because we always have to have collars. She is given the last set of clothes, that are in the thing with her number on it, 14. So she goes and puts it on in the bathroom, where she finds a half of a key, like a key that's been cut in half, and a tape player. And on the tape player, it's like, welcome player 14 to the game. The game will begin shortly. Keep your secrets to yourself. And only those without collars can break the rules. So that's what the tape player tells her, the little handheld tape player. So we get to see number 2, who decides that he's going to break one of the rules, which is he crosses the line in front of this door. And he goes and opens the door, and he's like, see, everything's all right. And then it electrocutes him, right? And he falls down dead. We assume. So he falls down dead. And of course, as you can imagine, none of them remember how they got here. They remember, their last memories are walking out of a club or leaving to go to work or whatever it was. Nobody can remember, how they were brought here and how this all happened or what happened to them. So they talk about each other and try to get to know each other, try to understand the situation, start trying to figure out how the hell are we going to get out of it. Of course, we're going to come up with plans. They're always given these like hints, like they will just turn around and there will be a piece of paper laying there and they don't know where it came from, and it'll have like a hint on it that will say something like number 5 doesn't always tell the truth, or number 5 doesn't tell the truth. So it's definitely a bunch of um, fuck with their head type stuff. Player 5 doesn't tell the truth, the note found. Number 11 found that. All of a sudden, the lights go out, which is going to be a recurring theme in this movie. The lights go out, and when the light does go out, ultraviolet strip appear on the wall. Red ultraviolet strips. So you can't really see, even with that, because it actually would make it more hard to see because of this kind of weird lighting going on. So the lights go out, and somebody gets killed. The lights go out, yeah, and a video comes on. No, nobody gets killed this time. The lights come on, and that's when you get to see the host, and it's this freaky looking guy, and he tells them about how 2, 7, and 12 were already gone because they had broken the rules, that they were all chosen for the game, that they can choose their fate. There will be one winner. The prize equals life. Kill or be killed. Piece the pieces together. Good luck. And it goes on. So that's the information that they're left with. Now, they all start, of course, like I said, they all start trying to figure out what's going on. How are they going to get out of this? The lights go red. When the light comes back on, number 9 is found dead. She's like drowned in the toilet. So the lights go out. You can hear sounds and stuff like that. And then the lights come back up, and usually somebody's dead. So number 9 is left dead in the toilet with her face down in the toilet. And they end up taking her and putting her body with the other 2, I guess 7 and 12. Because they couldn't get the body of number 2 because he had went down that hall and got electrocuted, and they can't cross the line, right? So they can't get to his body. So they had 7 and 11 in this room, and they show Tanya it. So she gets to see the other 2 dead people. 9 is found dead, like I said. 6 freaks out. It opens the box. There's this box on the wall that he said there was a gun in it, and there was a gun in it, but nobody had went to it. So he got it, but there's no bullets, you know. They put 9 in the room with the 2 other bodies that have broken the rules, and they tell Sonia one was killed just for not washing their hands. So 5 finds a hint, and the hint was 14 is the key. Because this is like a puzzle game. So I thought about, well, can you tell the people about this movie without like getting into the puzzle? But you can't really. That's the way I figured it out. 14 is the key. You see that number 10, he does have 1 bullet. That was his item, because each one of them had a item in their clothing bag. His happened to be a bullet. So now we know what that's for, right? Because there's a gun in there. He finds a hint that says jumble. That's all it has. 5 had gotten 9's lighter. That was the item that she had in her stuff, and now she's dead, so number 5 has it. 3 is becoming more and more unstable. It's this middle-aged woman. I guess you would think of her as like a lunch lady or a 59-year-old, your 59-year-old English teacher. That's kind of who she is. So she's becoming more and more stable, crying all the time. Lights go out. There's, you hear some of them scream, something's in the room. And 4 is dead with this big... 4 was this elderly lady, so that was kind of sad. But when the lights came back on, she's got this I guess you would call it like a crowbar, but a little crowbar, a little tiny crowbar. but it's like all the way through her head, through her eye. So that was pretty gross. They find another hint that says terror him. That's Terror, terror him. Now, 5, he starts noticing how some of these hints are very strange, jumble, terror him. So he starts thinking that they're anagrams. So he starts sitting down trying to figure out what these hints really mean. 8 finds a vial of green liquid, and his item is a hammer. And he notices that in the bottom there's a secret thing, and there's a little green vial in it, in the hammer handle. So 5 ends up breaking one of the anagrams, and it said to look in the mirror. So they find a box equals a note, and it was a black, it was cute, it was weird. It was a black box, and it just said cereal on it, like, but not cereal like Rice Krispies, spelled like serial killer. And so they look in the box, and there's a note, and along with a bunch of Rice Krispies, and the note said that there are 3 in this game. There are 3. 1 rapist, 1 pedo, and 1 killer. Find the killer equal find the reason. And it also had half a key in it. Obviously to go with 14's half key, right? So 10 drinks, there's this big bottle of water, liquor, like vodka. There's this big bottle of water, but they don't really know what it is other than it smells like whiskey. And it's got the labels blacked out. So 10 drinks out of the bottle, but nothing happens to him at this time. 8 tells all about the note, the serial killer note. They all begin to expect each other, because you've basically been told that of the people that are left in this big giant room, one of them is a rapist, one of them is a pedo, and one of them is a killer. So that's to bring up the suspicion. Lights out, you have a new video of a young girl tied to a chair, and it turns out to be 10's granddaughter, this guy's granddaughter. And the announcer says, that you broke the rules, remember, because he drank out of that bottle. So player 10 must kill 1 player or the girl dies. And then he says out loud that number 3 is the pedo. Now, number 3 was the 59-year-old English teaching looking school lady. So definitely not who you thought, right? And she starts, of course, screaming that she is not, But 10, he's like going to kill her, because it's like, she's a pedo, so you kill her, or your granddaughter is fisting to die. So he starts to do that, and he put the bullet in the gun that he had gotten off of 6, because number 6 had that gun that had no bullets. He had gotten it from him. He put the bullet in the gun, and then is going to shoot her, but she keeps saying, "I swear it's not true, I didn't." And he can't do it, and he ends up like putting the gun in his mouth and blowing his own brains out, real ugly too. So that was the end of him, and she ends up leaving, staying alive. However, not for very long. They put 10's body in the dead room, which is what I call it, and then 3 starts acting funny and falls over and dies of what they assume is a heart attack. So she's dead. The lights go out. You hear some really gross stabbing sounds. And then when it comes back on, the priest, or there was this Jesuit priest, he was number 1. They accused him of being the pedo, so they had tied him up. Stereotype. So they had accused him of being the pedo and had tied him up to a chair. The the lights went out, you heard all these really disgusting stabbing sounds and the pain that goes along with it. And when it come back up, he was like covered all over with those big giant mirror shards from the loo where they had broken that mirror. And so he was like stabbed all over with all of these, probably like 10 big giant mirror shards from where they broke that thing. So yeah, he's gone. And then they find another hint letter that said 1 and 3 are gone, but the killer and rapist still exist. They're still there. So, yeah, 1 and 3 are gone, but the killer and rapist still remain. So, the elderly woman obviously was, not the elderly, but you know what I mean, the 59-year-old woman really was a pedo. Because that's what it says. 1 and 3 are gone, but the killer and the rapist remain. So, but then again, I guess they don't really tell you. I guess it could have been the Jesuit priest. I guess it leaves it up to you to decide. Because it doesn't really matter. Because they're both dead, and the killer and the rapist is still there. So 8 has a plan. Tells the others about her key. Yeah, because when they put the key from the cereal box with her half key, it made a key. And the item that he had been given in his clothes was super glue. So it worked. Put the pieces together. So he was able to glue the key and it made a key. So his idea is to try the key on each of their collars without them seeing with the cameras. So they had one corner of the room, and so when the camera was on that corner, they wouldn't go over there. But when the camera moved away, he put the key over there, and one by one, they would all nonchalantly take a place in that corner and try the key on their collar. So they all did it, but it didn't open any of their collars of those that are in the room. So they tried each key. He tries it on himself, number 8. Everyone's, of course, getting super tense. And once again, it didn't work on his collar either. So they were like, well, maybe it worked on the collar of one of the ones that was killed, up there in the dead room. So it was at this point, though, 6 and 3 face off because they've been bitching at each other this whole time. And 6 punches him in the throat, 13 in the throat, but 13 falls on the floor and is foaming at the mouth and stuff like that. And next to his body, they see that vial, that little vial of green liquid, right? That was in the hammer. So they start accusing 6 of having poisoned him, and probably the old lady too, or the school teacher lady. Yeah. So they face off with 6. They accuse him of doing something to 13 when they find the vial, which is probably what happened to number 3 as well. 11 runs to the loo, and she's strangled to death in there when the lights go out. So she's strangled to death in there, and then the lights go out again, and a new video comes up that says a new surprise is just around the corner. When they come back on, they find a young guy with the number 0 on his costume, on his mechanic's uniform. And he's tied to a chair with his mouth taped. He says the same thing. He doesn't know why he's there. He doesn't know what's going on, why he's here. 6 tries to bully him, scares him to death really, and even pisses on himself. So they know he really doesn't know what to go on. They put 11 in the dead room, and, 14 and 0 talk a little bit. She wants to know if he had anything in his pockets, the one item that each of them got. Did he have anything? But he couldn't find anything in there. 8 questions him. 0 asks if they know what the host wants. What is this all about? What does they want? 14 and 8 want to try the key on his collar, right? They're like, here's a new person. Let's get him to try the key. So 0 tries it, over there in the corner, and it unlocks. It fits his collar. So it unlocks his collar, and they're like, here's the person. Remember, it said that only a person without a collar could break the rules. So they send him across the line down that hallway, open the door and go down that hallway. And he goes down there in the dark, and he says that there's a brick wall. It's a wall. But there's a little black box. So he comes back with this black gift box, and they open there's a note on the top of the box, and it's a hint that says bite the bullet. And in the box, there's like probably about 25, 30 big ammo rounds, bullets. So 6 loads the gun with some of them, but 8 comes up with an idea, and he gets the gunpowders from the bullets to make an explosive to blow a hole in that wall. But he keeps 1 bullet in his pocket. So they rig all of this up with the powder bomb. That liquor, you see, that they weren't supposed to drink, it's the fuse, right? So they had all of the equipment that they needed to try and escape. They just had to wait and put the pieces together and figure it all out. So they get it to work, and it goes down there, and it blows a big hole in the brick wall, and the number 0 goes in there. He goes down there and tries to tell them, that it worked, but then he comes back, and he's like saying, it's not what you think, it's not what we think, this game isn't what you think, because in the room and the lights go out. And then you hear this horrible sound, and the lights come back up, and 0 is dead there right by that doorway on the stairs with that vodka bottle is like shoved through his head, through his mouth, right through the back of his head. So it's then that a video comes on, and it tells them that it's the final round. The biggest secrets will be revealed. And he asked them, he's like, we didn't kill 0. We haven't killed any of y'all. We're not the ones that are showing up when the lights go out. So, who killed 0? Because it sounds like somebody doesn't want to get out of here. So that was a revelation. Because they had thought that someone was coming into the room and killing them one by one. But the host informs them that they're not doing it. That the people who have been killed in this room when the lights go out have been killed by whoever is the killer in this room. So that, of course, sends them into complete freak out. And 6 panics. 8 confronts him. They fight over the gun. Tanya gets a hold of the gun and shoots 6 right through the head. So he's dead. So there's only 14, 8, and 5 are left. That's the only people that are left. So 8 and 5 are 14 and 5. Yeah. Tanya and 5 go into the bathroom, and 5 locks the door behind her and attacks 14. Attacks her. He's obviously the rapist. So she manages to get away from him, and 8 holds, the gun on 5. 5 ends up stabbing 8, and 8 shoots 5. So that's what happens during that fight. And then, because 8 has this big shard of glass in him, where 5 had got it from the bathroom. So 8 shot him with that one bullet that he had left, and then 5 had stabbed 8 in the chest. So he's laying on the floor, and he's not like dying or anything. He's just got, this shard of glass sticking out of him that he's still all right at the moment. Then Tanya, comes down over his face, and is, looking at him in the face. And she reaches down and kisses him, and then she grabs that shard, and she, pulls it right up his chest. Very bloody, very gory. And that was a surprise to him. It was a surprise to me as well. So she pulls it up, 8's torso, with this evil look on her face. And then as she's sitting over him, 5's dead over there. He's not going anywhere. He's got maybe a couple of minutes to live. And you see the host walk in. And he walks over to Tanya, and Tanya hands him her hand, and he picks her up. He helps her stand up. And they walk out together, and she looks back over her shoulder at him, right, as he's dying, number 8. And he's looking at her like, what the absolute fuck, which is kind of what you're thinking as well. And she just turns the light off and shuts the door. Now, they walk down this hallway, where he had blew the thing. And they continue to walk on. And we see lots of researchers in various rooms, watching monitors. And then we see number 2. Remember at the beginning of the movie, that 2 that crossed the line and went down the hall and got electrocuted? Well, he's sitting there with his glasses on. Hey, did everything go all right? Did we get all of the information that we needed? So, so this room was being monitored, and she sits down at a big desk. She looks through a folder with these people's roster in it, each one was a fact sheet about that person, and that is where you definitely see that number 5 was the rapist, because it said convicted rapist on it. She cleans herself up. And then the guy is like, we need you in room number so-and-so. And so she's giving herself evil looks in the mirror as she cleans herself up. And then she takes off her clothes. And next thing you know, she goes flying out the door into another room exactly like that one, surrounded by 13 other people, exactly like we had before. And a guy comes running up and throws a blanket over her, or a coat over her, and it all starts again. So, obviously, you were very shocked by the twist of Tanya being the killer. So, the hint did not lie. You remember when it said that there was a rapist, a pedo, and a killer in there? The twist is that Tanya was the killer, that this is all some kind of scientific research project, and that there's multiple rooms with people like this, and she's pretty much the end game kill person who goes in and dispatches these people. Now, it doesn't go into any explanation. It obviously leaves it up to you. Maybe if you've ever seen Cube Zero, it's something like that. That's kind of the idea that I got, was it was something like Cube Zero. because they're obviously doing some kind of research into the way people behave in this situation. So, yes. What did I give this? Oh, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I know that my narration can be a little boring, giving you just the highlights of the story, but it gives you a feel for what these movies are and what the storyline is. And I know it's a spoiler channel, remember? It's like, yeah, you just spoiled the shit now, though. If we go watch it, we'll know Tanya was the killer. I premiere these. You have a couple days to go find the bitch if you want it. I don't care about spoilers. I still want to see all the other shit go down. So, yeah. This is a spoiler channel, sorry. But this is a fucking fantastic psychological movie. The kills are pretty gross. The twist was what the fuck. And, yeah, I didn't see it coming when it happened. That was a nice save. So yes, I will see you in day 3. This is Breathing Room from 2000. What did I say? 2008? Yes. So, that was Breathing Room from 2008. Love you, miss you, bye. See you in the next installment of this Battle Royale Festival. Always remember, never forget, you're a very, very special person, no matter what anyone says, even if you're a lab rat in a Battle Royale psychological mindfuck experiment. You're still a special person. Bye-bye.